Hello everyone, Jenkaldo here and welcome to Football Manager 2019. I have been invited down to the Sports Interactive offices to try the game before the beta is released. So you can see I have already launched a new save. You can see my club here, which is a nice added touch, is LA Galaxy. That's the team that we're going to be taking forward for this little trial run. It's not the team that I'm necessarily going to take forward with the beta. It depends how this goes. I might get sacked before we get there. But Sports Interactive invited a bunch of creators down today to try out the game and release it to you guys before the beta comes out. So you might hear some voices in the background. The one speaking at the moment is Lalujo. I've also got Fox in the Box and Golden FM in the room as well. So if you want to see other content from today, loads of other creators are going to be putting them out. You should check out them in the video as well. But what we're going to do here in this video is take a first look at Football Manager 2019. So this is a new home screen, which I really like. I like the added touch. You can see the LA Galaxy shirts in the background as well. It's a wonderful touch. The save already loaded up here. The rest of the stuff pretty standard, but this is part of the new overhaul of FM19. If you haven't seen the branding stuff coming out already, then I don't really know where you've been, because it has been everywhere. Football Manager has stepped up their game this year in terms of getting out content and showing what's in the new game already. So you can see the new logo here, Football Manager 2019, different from all the previous logos. Manager Man is no longer a thing. He has been retired. But if we jump into the game here with LA Galaxy, I do have to say before we get into this, there are certain restrictions on what I can show you today due to all kinds of different reasons. So if it's weird that I'm starting with LA Galaxy or not looking at certain things, there are reasons behind that, so apologies for that. But of course we will go through that in full when the beta does come out and we're completely released to do so. The nice thing about being in the MLS is that you do get all of the licensed stuff in here, so you can see the LA Galaxy logo, we get the proper players and everything else. We're currently just set up, I think, in the game, so I've not done anything other than get hired as a manager. We still need to talk to the director, the assistant manager. We need to have our tactics induction, look at the new transfers, injuries, contracts, and our responsibilities. Now, one of the nice things about setting up a game in FM19 is you actually get to set up the responsibilities before you go into the club. There's a guide of what you like to do yourself or not do. So this has been auto-generated for me, so I don't mind doing the press conferences, but I don't want to do the tunnel interviews. You can also see I don't like taking first team training, so that's done by the assistant manager, but I'm in charge of the scout. So I set all of that up before I've even come into the game, which does save time, because it's the first thing I do in every game is get into the backroom staff, hire new staff, release others, and set up my responsibilities. So that's a huge improvement in just making the game so much easier. But I need to have this meeting with the director. Before we do that, we will take a little look at the different tabs. You can see the social feed here. I'm not actually sure how this has developed from previous games. It's not something I've used in the past, so I won't spend too much time on this. If we have a look at the news screen, you can see all of the news here coming up on the screen, which is nice to see, and you've got around the world transfer windows as well. If we go to the squad, then you can see we've got a big squad by my standards. I normally don't have this many players on the team roster, and this will be slimmed down because we've got no wage or transfer budget. You can see the ability and potential as judged by my assistant manager. Our biggest players, Jonathan Dos Santos, and of course we have Zlatan Ibrahimovic up front. We've also got Ashley Cole in the team. There's a few other big names in here as well, which we will be able to make the most out of. And I think given the nature of the team, because the top end is so heavy and the rest of the team, especially midfield, are not that great, I'm probably going to bypass the midfield for the most part, go route one, send the ball up to Zlatan and let him weave his absolute magic. You can also quickly see which players in your team are out on loan, or the international screen here. You've got the squad dynamics, which was introduced but has been expanded on in this game, so you can see the hierarchy more clearly, the social groups broken down by core groups, secondary B and others. Team happiness, I really like the way that this is presented. You can see the happiness across everybody. Everybody's reasonably happy, some are delighted, some are slightly happy, but this is a nice little touch. You've got the hierarchy listed as well, broken down by who you need to keep most happy at the top of the screen, and then the rest of them further down. And when you look at the team meetings as well, actually not loading up on the screen. I don't really want to have a team meeting anyway because they just end up losing me my job. We got the tactics introduction here. I'm going to skip the induction. You can do that on your own time if you would like to when the game does come out. Obviously, I'm forgetting that we do have this game a couple of days before you guys get the beta. We're not sure when the beta is exactly coming out, but it's really cool to be able to come down here and see the game before it's fully released. Now, the big overhaul to tactics is tactical styles. You can see them down the left-hand side. You've got control possession, gegenpress, tiki-taka, vertical tiki-taka, wing play, route one, fluid counter-attack, direct counter-attack, catenaccio, park the bus, and create your own style. The last one will definitely lead to me being fired, so we're not going to do that. Instead, we're going to go for this route one here, and you get this great graphic shot which shows how the tactic operates there. You can see that would be Zlatan Ibrahimovic on the end, that end pixel, putting the ball in the net, but you can see that it's made up of mentality, possession, transition, and out of possession, and these are the team instructions historically that you would apply to your tactic. They're auto set up here. Now, normally when a game introduces a new feature, they do promote it a little bit too heavily in my experience, so I'm actually going to leave this exactly how it is because I think it's going to be better than me messing around with it myself. The way that I'm going to set up with this team is 4-4-1-1. Like I said, defence, midfield, not that great. Shadow striker, target man is where we will make the difference. So getting that lung ball up to Zlatan, to Santos or Alessandrini running in behind is definitely going to lead to goals. So that's the way we're going to take that forward. And here is my tactic. We are going to go a little bit more attacking because that's how I like to play. But other than that, I am going to leave this exactly how it is. If we do a quick pick on the team, you can see how it's going to be set up. Actually, I'm going to move these guys forward a little bit. So it's more of a 4-2-3-1 because I think really going heavily on the attack is a good idea. So obviously you can see the player instructions. If we click on this here, you can see and set individual player instructions. I am not going to do that. We could mess around with set pieces. I won't do that now. Captain, at the moment it's Ashley Cole. That can stay the same. And here is the match plans. So we can add scenarios to the match. So we've got scenario instructions. Let's say we're winning by 2 goals. I don't really like to settle for 1 goal at any time. We could change to a different tactic or a different mentality. So I would probably change that to a defensive mentality. We can add touchline instructions, like we could go to shorter passing so we retain possession. We can try and pass into space so we give the ball away less. And we can also dribble less so we're less likely to give the ball away. Some of those might be a little bit counterproductive to each other, but we will leave them like that for now. But that's a fantastic match plan to have. We can have these set up so you don't have to do so much pausing, changing your team instructions. You can just leave it going and the game will take care of itself. It's really cool. Opposition instructions are here as well. I don't normally mess around with these, but obviously we could do. And when you look at the team report here, you can see there are a lot of problems with my team which we do need to fix. Squad depth is okay, it's not brilliant. Defence especially is very weak or just very average. Same in central midfield, but up front we're quite heavy, which is good. Staff screen here, we need to recruit a lot of new staff in. We've got the responsibilities which we already talked about. Not too many changes here, to be honest. And if we look at training, I'll skip the training induction, but this has been overhauled. Training is a common gripe in Football Manager every single year. And I think this year they might have made a big step forward. Now, I have learned to leave training well and truly alone. So my assistant has set this one up, and you can see that it goes through the week across the top bar, and down the left-hand side you've got the different sessions. There's a lot of rest days at the moment. This will get a bit more intense as we go through pre-season. Medical centre, I don't think we have any current injuries. We don't. But you can see the injury risk is quite high because if we were to play a game right now, the players might be in a good condition, but they're bad for match sharpness and that are more likely to lead to an injury. But their physical status, which you can see here, is actually pretty alright, so there's no real worries there. Schedule, I won't mess around with this, we will just stick with what is already set up. I might put a little break in between Saturday and Sunday, just in case, but you can see that overall actually we're not doing too badly. And when you get to the competition screen, you can see MLS, Supporters Shield and US Cup are the 3 competitions we're in. And here is the scouting It's still using that scouting centre that we had last year. I struggled with the scouting centre last year. I didn't think it was the best way to do it, but this year I'm going to try and get a bit more stuck into it because I don't think it's going to go anywhere. So I need to get a little bit more into this. Of course, let me know what your thoughts are on some of these features down in the comments. I know that there have been a few choice words said about some of these features, so people should definitely share those down below, and also drop a like on the video if you are enjoying this first look at FM19. Now you can see transfers, ordinarily my favourite thing to do at the start of a save, but with January 2018 here, no transfer budget, and virtually no salary cap available. We're going to rely on youth team players coming through the club, and you can see the club's history here, key employees, and the kits, which are a nice little touch to actually have the kits in here, and the board confidence pretty high at the moment. We can still change the transfer and wage budget. Finances, 40 million in the bank, not too bad. Here's our LA Galaxy 2, and if we go to the academy, then we can see there is not a great amount of talent in here, but I will be using quite a few academy players to try and get them up into the first team. There's this guy here who's out on loan who actually looks alright. He might have a work permit issue, I'm not too sure. And then because we're still in an early stage, you can see here report bug if there are any issues at all. But that is it for the start of our first look. We will get into various different games in the next part when we do launch this series properly. But if you're enjoying this first look at Football Manager 19, make sure you do subscribe to the channel so that you can get all of the content coming out. There will be a few videos over the next few days from this content creator capture event, and we'll take a look at a lot of different aspects. So do click that subscribe button. Make sure to hit the like button as well. Let me know your questions down below, and let me know what team you think I should go with during the beta when it is released. But until next time, see ya!